All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hope you're having a good day and weathered this recent storms okay. I saw some pretty big trees down on Henry Clay, I think, or whatever. It was a nightmare. Yeah, so hopefully you all weathered that okay, safe and sound. I'd like to invite Cheyenne to come up with the pledge and the four-way test and the inspiration today. And hello to everyone on Zoom.
Okay, we're going to start with the pledge so that y'all can see. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. If it is true, to declare all concerned, will no good will just will be beneficial to all concerned. All right, have a seat. Okay, do you know what today is? Are you ready? It is National Laughter Day. It really is. It's National Laughter Day. I looked it up. Google said it was. So it is true that laughter is the best medicine. It draws people together in ways that trigger healthy physical and emotional changes in the body. Humor lightens your burdens, inspires hope, connects to others, and keeps you grounded, focused, and alert. It also helps you release anger and forgive sooner. So it's actually good for your health. And I'm going to tell you a few ways of how it's good for your health. It relaxes your whole body. A good hearty laugh relieves physical tension and stress, leaving your muscles relaxed to up to 45 minutes after. It boosts your immune system, which I don't know about y'all, but I need right now because allergies are killing me. Laughter triggers the release of endorphins. It protects the heart. It burns calories, so you can eat all the dessert you want, right? It lightens anger's heavy load. It may even help you live longer. The physical benefits are it boosts immunity, lowers stress hormones, decreases pain, relaxes your muscles, and prevents heart disease. The mental health benefits of laughter are it adds joy and zest to your life. It eases anxiety and tension. It relieves stress. It improves your mood. It's really hard to laugh and then be mad, right? And it strengthens your resilience. It also strengthens your relationships, attracts others to you. It enhances teamwork, and it helps diffuse conflict. So, you know, I always have a challenge for you. My challenge for you today is to laugh. Make others laugh, enjoy your life, and have fun. That's it.
Thank you, Cheyenne. It's especially nice to remember on a little bit of an overcast day. So I'm a sunshine person. So introduction of guests, Brad Patrick. Please join me at the podium. As a reminder, please silence your cell phones and try to keep conversation to a minimum during the program so we can hear the speaker effectively in the back of the room.
Something I'd love to do is to welcome all of our guests here. So we've got a good list of them here. We have one, I guess. We have no Rotorexes in there, but we have a whole list of folks here. I'm going to toss them out. The first one is to Jeremy. Jeremy, you have an introduction. Mike is coming your way. Jeremy, there he is. You make a speech where the men pass out and the women reach for their savior.
I guess today is Renee Conley, who was the CIO of Xerox Business Services. And in 2017, he went out with his own company, providing actually CTO, Chief Technology Officer as a service.
Thank you. Welcome. Emery Wilson has a guest. Oh, there he is.
Hi, guest today is Emily Cunningham, our daughter, who practices here in the community and now practices in Texas and has an interest in a program similar to what.
Excellent. That's a great note. A lot of folks on here checked that they were interested in membership. So I would love that you all take the opportunity to feature what we are really great at, and that's welcoming people and service to our community. Next person is Lyle Hanna, my good friend Lyle. Where did Lyle go? There he is. Lyle.
You may notice that his name is similar to mine. We just met a few months ago when he moved. He retired early in Cincinnati and moved down here. He's already working again, but you know what? We go way back. We unfortunately got separated very early, just after birth in the 1600s. One of the wars attacked our peasants. And we ended up moving here. We got scattered across the country, and so since then we're finally getting back together. So much this, and he had a practice in Cincinnati. He also taught at the University of Cincinnati Medical School. It was great to have him here in our community, and he's already got a job. He wasn't even looking for one, I don't think, but he's one of the directors at Key Assets. It's a mental health clinic license, and so give him a warm welcome.
Wow, give up that grudge. Give up that grudge, Mr. King. Bury the hatchet. Laurel Martin. Where's Dr. Martin? Oh, way in the back there.
My guest is a gentleman named George Bond. He is still coming up the escalator, right on the left, pretty well to meet when he gets here. He retired as a leadership educator for the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And when I got to meet him, I just thought he was delightful and thought this was the kind of group that he might enjoy meetings as well. So he'll be here shortly.
We'll come back to you, Laurel, just so he can appreciate the welcome. So, Laura Mobley Horn.
This is Mary Ellen. We had a bunch of us meeting her at Lee, Kentucky. So we invited her, she loved this group. So I'm ready for a big welcome.
Look, Lucas, there he is, way in the back.
Hey everybody, I have my good buddy John McCurry here. He works for All God's Children. They do foster care, certification, counseling, and also they have daycare. So we welcome here.
Yeah, welcome. Judy Worth has guests.
I would like to introduce Russ Turbin. Russ works with an organization called EcoGrow. And he is also serving as our consultant for the Rotary Pollinator Garden in Kenwood Park. So we're happy to have him here with an interest in Rotary initiatives.
Yes. And I point out he brought his clipboard. Susie, she always brings a gang of great people.
I'm so excited. We have, T.R. Wallace. He is the tournament director for the Kentucky Championship, PGA, that we're gonna be holding out, and this is that, oh, wow. He is, a very volunteer person, wasn't even volunteer last year, working with Hugo and so on, and helps out with Hugo. They are so excited. We're gonna be doing the Rotaries that we volunteered again. You're gonna have on your tables, there's a little flyer that says about it. Rotary 24 is the code, it is open, and we're excited because one of the charities for, County 127 is all about children, so. The world is a small place, so welcome guys.
Excellent. How close, Laurel? How close? Nope, no good. Well, everybody, I encourage you to smother them with our greatness and welcome all our guests overall. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. And thank you, dear. All right, with the lottery, Bruce Daly. Let's see if my numbers get mixed up.
$767.
$767 and the ace of clubs. I remember.
Yep, you got it.
I also. Okay. The first number, 9492.
There,
Although last week.
he's consistent.
I know.
Ace of club, let's see. Oh, the spade.
That was
That's close.
scary.
You getting close?
Okay, second number. 9541. Ooh, that was close to me. 9541. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
We get some regulars coming up. Besides Buzz. He hasn't been up in a little while.
Had one.
You feeling lucky?
All right. Oh, yeah, one. So I have to wait till I get home.
See, good laughter. Oh,
The club,
right,
the ace.
wrong.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your donation. Oh, he gets his dollar.
It's $1.
Yeah, he wants his
You get a
dollar.
dollar.
Thank you. All right, I want to welcome back Jeremy Maynard, my good friend. We have missed him for a year. He had a kidney transplant, and actually his wife was his donor. And that's so exciting. But really keeping it in the family, I guess. But we're so glad to have you back and glad to see you. And then you brought a guest your first day. Welcome back. Celebrating birthdays this week, Bobby Owens and Jen Green. Happy birthday, Rotarians. For announcements, we still need your vote. If you haven't casted your vote for cast your vote for the bylaws and the Constitution, Bill Wilson and his fearless committee have worked very hard to update our club's guiding whatever bylaws. Please, we need your vote. We have to have a certain number to meet the quorum and we need yes or no, whatever. So please see Bill Wilson and get your vote in. If you haven't voted today, he has ballots, and so we can track who's voted and who hasn't. And we appreciate that. If you haven't voted, you will be getting a phone call from the board. So 3 tickets left for Keynote next week on April 10th. So if you want to purchase a ticket, there are 3 available. See Susan Adams. If possible, Susan, I don't see you. Oh yeah, she's back there on the back table. And she can get you those last 3 tickets. Bourbon tasting. We have our Knob Creek bottles that are going pretty quick there. Paul Tuning, our fearless bourbon tasting provider, back there every week. So if you haven't gotten a bottle, please get one. It supports our club, $100, and it does taste good. And if you've already bought one, you can buy another one for Christmas gifts or whatever. So we hope you participate. Dancing with the Stars. I wore my starry jacket to talk about that. We're fast approaching our wonderful event and can't wait to hear from our beneficiary partner surgery on Sunday today. So there's lots of ways that you can participate in the dance. We've already gotten some donations of bourbon for the bourbon pool. We still need that. You can buy a ticket. Tickets on sale, and our dancers are doing a tremendous job selling tables and tickets. So if you think you're going to attend, please buy your tickets now. So that I think there's a real good chance we're going to sell out prior to the event. Let's see, opening day for the Miracle League is on Saturday, April 13th. Join us out at Shiloh Park to support the players. Hope you come out, and I hope the weather's nice, but I can throw some heat. I practiced in the fall. I did pretty good. No, I made Tony Barrett warm up with me. I was nervous, so we'll see. But anyway, I hope you join us out there. It's a great cause, and that committee does a wonderful job. I'd like to ask Tim Mueller to come join me at the podium. I'm like, who's Kim? Kim's introducing Tim. I forgot his name. So, Tim, I'm so glad to have you here. He is actually an existing Rotarian and has been one for many years, and joins us in his new role with the Legends. But just a little background on Tim. He's a native of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and grew up in Ocala, Florida. And he attended the Methodist College in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He has a BA in physical education and with a concentration in sports management, and has worked in the professional baseball world for nearly 30 years, and has had stops in North Carolina, West Virginia, and Mississippi, and now Lexington. He's been a longtime Rotarian, and when I spoke to him on the phone, I was so excited that Rotary has continued to be part of your life in wherever your work life has taken you. And I think that that's really a telling tale about this organization and what it can be for you personally. He attends Southland Church, and please join me in welcoming Tim Mueller, our newest Rotarian. I'd like to ask Bill Wilson to join me at the podium to introduce another new Rotarian for the club. You guys are doing a great job with membership. I'm so glad that everyone's getting the word out and inviting guests, and because we're such a great club and a great organization.
Thank you. Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, I'd like the pleasure of introducing a longtime friend, colleague, fraternity brother, and a colleague on many boards. His name is Dr. Don Thorpe, although he prefers to be simply called Don. He's had a distinguished career in association management, spanning more than 35 years. He served as the Chief Operations Officer for the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards. He was also served as President and Chief Executive Officer of the Pan American Health and Education Foundation. He's also served as on the foundation of the Black Caucus Foundation, and he was president and CEO on that. In addition to that, and prior to that, he was appointed as Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Council on Foundations. So he's had a wealth of experience in terms of his professional background. He currently is with Ashley Roundtree. He's a corporate headhunter, so please don't all give your cards to him right today. He has the pleasure of having been the first African-American to chair the Board of Regents for Murray State University during their centennial year of 2022-23. He's a native of Mayfield, Kentucky, and he's a graduate of Murray State University, where he received his graduate and undergraduate degrees. He got his doctorate degree from Virginia Polytechnic and State University in Blacksburg, Virginia, in higher education. And Don has also been given just recently an honor by Murray State University because of his service. They named a lecture hall in the School of Engineering on his behalf. In addition to that, his wife received a Rotary scholarship. So that's his first job to get his wife involved here. So would you all please join me in welcoming Don Thorpe. Don?
And now I'd like to invite Edwin Gibson to join me at the podium for the introduction of our speaker today.
Good afternoon, my dear fellow Rotarians. How's everyone today? Awesome. Better than we deserve, right? And this weather, who knows how to dress for it, right? I once said to someone in northern North Dakota that there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear, bad preparation. She responded vehemently, there is such thing as bad weather. There's my little contribution to our laughter there. Very little contribution. There are worse things than bad weather. Not having access to good health care is one of them. We're going to hear a little bit more about how these beautiful people here make that possible. Surgery on Sunday and the Rotary Club of Lexington have a long history. For the past 12 years, over a decade, 12 years, they have been one of the beneficiaries of our fundraiser, Dancing with the Lexington Stars. And if you haven't done so, see page 2 of the Wheel Horse, where you'll find more information about how you can make our fundraiser more awesome than it is, if that's possible. Dr. Andrew Moore, a prominent plastic surgeon here in Lexington, is the founder of Surgery on Sunday, a mission-driven organization where dedicated volunteers come together to provide essential surgical care to those in need. Over nearly 4 decades, that's 40 years for those of us who may not know what a decade is, present company included, Dr. Moore and his brothers have aided numerous individuals who lack the financial resources to make surgical procedures an option. Dr. Moore's continuing mission is to ensure that the working poor can access outpatient services that would otherwise be unavailable to them because of financial limitations. And I believe there's a video that we can queue up at this time.
Poverty's not going to go in a lifetime. And, my greatest wish is that everybody can get health care. I think we're a long way from getting there. And so in the meantime, I think we fill a little gap and help people. Most of these people are hardworking people, and they just hit a little bump in the road that they just can't afford. And that's what we're there for, just give that little help over that little bump, and then they get on with their lives and be productive citizens.
A couple of years, she's got a problem with vision. She has only one eye to see, and the other one is blind. So that's what I wanted to do associate. So I found out about the program. And I didn't qualify for it.
So they're originally from Egypt, and we needed a translator. I speak Arabic. I think just having someone that speaks the language that she's familiar with, it was comforting, and I think that made her feel a little better.
The surgery that we provide is a gift that is of no cost to them. Everything that we do is given to the patient simply because we want to provide them care. But the outpouring of love from the families and the patients is amazing.
John had a really bad cough and had pulled something in his back, and he coughed real hard and herniated the disc. He had just turned 27 about 3 months earlier and had fallen off of our insurance, but didn't have his time. So he was in a world of hurt, figuratively. We showed up, and there was so many staff people, there's volunteers and people helping and people who had already learned about Scott's situation. It was incredibly professional. The surgery went very quickly, and literally for the first time, 5 months when we went home that day, my son was able to sit up and talk rather than lie on the desk. And so without the surgery, I think it would have been devastating for Scott. As it is, he's just about to turn 30, and he's going to be a full-time teacher and a soccer coach, and all of that's back on track. So he's living history. Very few organizations in literally change a person's life. So that's why we're doing this, because we know that our $50 a month. It's literally changing lives. You know, there's nothing else like this. I mean, there's nothing else like this. And that's an amazing thing.
We would like you to know that any donation, no matter the size, makes a big impact on the patients we serve through surgery on Sunday.
In case you didn't hear that very clearly, they are a 501c3 organization. So if you're making too much money, need a tax break for next year, in addition to what Rotary gives, you can also feel free to donate to them. And you're welcome, Ms. Prewitt. I don't know if she was going to do that or not, but I was going to make sure that happened. Ms. Laura Prewitt, a seasoned professional with a rich background in the equestrian world and business finance, knew she wanted to make a more meaningful impact on her community. With years of experience as the former executive director of the Kentucky Horse Park and her work with the Breeders' Cup, she made that significant transition in her career when she became the executive director of Surgery on Sunday. This transition allows her to utilize her extensive business network and management skills to support a cause in which she deeply believes. By rallying support from within her network, she strives to amplify and reach and impact of Surgery on Sunday services. On a personal note, Ms. Prewitt lives on a horse farm in Fayette County, horses, right? She has 2 children in the medical field, Carter, who is a first-year surgical resident at the University of Louisville, and Caroline, who is pursuing her master's in healthcare administration at the University of Kentucky. More than likely future volunteers for Surgery on Sunday. Ms. Prewitt, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Kim and Brett, for allowing me to come today. I've been to one Rotary function. I think it was when Patino was still here. It was at the Phase Tipton. It was packed. But you all make me feel so comfortable. This is fun. It's easy going. Everybody's laughing, so I don't know why you have to have a national day for you guys. But I told Kim or Edwin, hell, we just need some liquor, and we'll just go all night. Well, I don't think we can. Oh, okay. But I'm gonna go through just a short PowerPoint, but I want to start by saying, truly, I did want to make a change in my career to do something more meaningful, and I'm at a fantastic place. Nancy Johnson is our medical coordinator, and I remember talking to her about Surgery on Sunday and what it means, and she got me. I mean, it was passionate. Her telling me about the folks that they've helped, the stories that have been told about folks getting eye surgery, walking in and can't see, and then waking up and looking at the person that brought them. In this one particular instance, this boyfriend had brought this lady, and she opens her eyes and she goes, "Oh my God, you're beautiful." And so it's so neat to experience that. And it's also very fulfilling to have these patients come back to us and write us and bring us whatever they can, whether it's tomatoes from their garden or, you know, volunteering themselves. It's truly circular, and everybody gives back. So let's just go through this short PowerPoint. Do I have I've got a clicker. Great, I've got a clicker. And then I'll leave some time to answer some questions. Right arrow. Okay. So what we like to say, and I guess is our tagline, is we feel like we're changing lives one surgery at a time. Our mission, as was kind of spoken in the video, is as a nonprofit to provide essential outpatient surgical procedures to folks who have very low income or uninsured and can't afford to have these surgeries themselves. And I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end. So what makes Surgery on Sunday work? It truly is the volunteers. There's 2 paid staff members, myself and a volunteer coordinator. And when I say that an organization can't happen without the volunteers, I truly mean it. And those volunteers, although there's non-medical and medical volunteers, the majority of our hours logged are from our medical community.
We've had over 160,000 hours logged. Each surgery day, which we operate one Sunday every month, it takes about 50 to 60 medical volunteers to make that happen. Clinical volunteers, like any other, are privileged at our community facilities, and they're all licensed. So they has to go through a process where for our liability on insurance, even though they're your doctors in your community, to have them operate at our surgical center, they still have to go through that. And listen, it's a pain sometimes, but these guys want to help, and they keep coming back, and they keep reapplying so they can help us. The types of volunteers that we need and that we have, you can see medically, surgeons, anesthesiologists, nurses, surg techs, SRNAs, radiologists, pathologists. What this means is for every operating room we have to have an OR nurse, we have to have an anesthesiologist, a tech, and of course the surgeon. When one of those pieces are missing, it means some people can't get their surgeries. And we're constantly telling our volunteers how appreciative we are. And we're constantly trying to get the new group, because the volunteers are kind of my age and older, and we try to get the new guys coming in. And that seems to be kind of hard right now for us, because there's so many things going on for these young medical professionals. But I think once they come in there and they experience it, they'll get the joy of wanting to give back to their community as well. The population in need. As mentioned in the video, Dr. Moore founded this in 2005. So it's, fairly young, fairly old for a surgery center at this site. Dr. Moore's thought was to help those that fell through the cracks. So just like our person on the video said, their son just fell off their insurance, something happened to him, and it was going to be extremely costly for him to get that operation. Also, the cost, as we all know, of health insurance that keeps going up. We're having a lot of people that haven't fallen on really hard times, but they're just spending their money to keep a roof over their head. Thus, they're not carrying insurance and they need our help. So when someone calls us and says, how can I get a surgery done? We do have things that allow you to do that. We do not accept patients that carry insurance, Medicaid, or Medicare, and they have to have a poverty level, which is 250% below the national poverty level, which changes, of course, year to year. And then to perform surgeries effectively, we have to make sure that their body mass index is at a level, because we do all of these operations where they can go home. They're not staying overnight, so we want to be as safe as we can, and that's one of our prerequisites. The type of procedures we do, like I said, anything that can be an outpatient surgery. We do a lot of hernias. We do a lot of gallbladders. It's great when we do the cataract surgery and the retina procedures, because we can get a lot of folks in that day, probably 15 to 20. We're on big surgery days. We are anywhere from 10 to 8 to 10 on big surgeries. And it depends on how long the surgeries take. Surgeries that we can scoot through, we have to scoot through them. Connecting patients to care. So when a patient comes to us, it's not like, hey, great, meet us at the surgery center. We hook that patient up with a doctor that's probably going to be performing their surgery. So they have an onboarding, if you would, appointment, and they have a post-operative appointment. And a lot of our folks come from Tennessee and from other places that are, about 4 to 5 hours away from Lexington. And in that case, we'll ask the patient, or we'll pay for the patient to stay in Lexington overnight so they can have a surgical update with our doctors the next day. The goals of this program, besides helping as many as we can, is to resolve the pain and suffering that people have and they live with, because there's no outlet. We provide that outlet, and hopefully they can get back to a productive life. And as Dr. Moore likes to say, continue to contribute to their community and to their family. We reduce the number, or hopefully to reduce the number of emergency rooms as our primary care facilities. We get a lot of call from the ER docs that say, hey, Laura, so-and-so's in here, we'll refer them to you. We know you can help them, but we can't get them in. So we appreciate our relationship with the community hospitals around. And ultimately, it does lessen the burden of finances at these hospitals. our community partners. We couldn't do this. I told Dr. Moore, if he were to start this today, there's no way it could be done. He started this at a time when it was handshakes and it was, I know this person and I know that person, it was networking. And he was able to grandfather himself into a lot of these things, and that's why it's continuing so well. The main thing is the Lexington Surgery Center, they allow us to come and use their facilities on Sunday. It's $354. That's what it costs us to provide a surgery, whether it's a tonsillectomy or a retina surgery for that patient, which is, as you all know, wouldn't pay for Advil at a regular hospital. So we're so appreciative to the Lexington Surgery Center. St. Joseph, they allow us to have our office right next door to them on Harrodsburg Road, rent-free. We've got medical transcription, which is important, pathology, accounting. We have a board member that does all of our taxes and all of our books for us. And then the majority of our funding comes through grants and just donations that people give yearly. Or we had a race. We have one fundraiser this past Saturday at Mount Brilliant. It was a run. So that, and then the support that the Rotary gives us through Dancing with the Stars really kind of funds us. So that's kind of our team on Sundays. And one thing that is, like I said, the people that volunteer, there's 1 or 2 or 3 key people that if they can't come on that Sunday, we'll have to cancel a Sunday. But when that happens, we usually have another volunteer step up, as we did last month, and we sent out an email and they said, okay, I'll come back short for my vacation because I don't want the patients to miss a surgery, because they know how important and how much the patients look forward to having the surgeries. So, you know, if any of you are interested in volunteering, there are things for non-medical volunteers to do. But what I would like for you to take from this today is, if you have friends in the medical field, just tell them about us and tell them how neat it is. And it's a misconception. It's only one Sunday. So if you have a friend who's a doctor, I'm not saying please come 11 Sundays a year, just one. We don't operate in December, and you know, we don't want to cancel any surgeries because of lack of volunteers. And thanks again for having me. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Some questions. I'd also like to say real quick. Yeah. So Rotarian is here, Amanda Ferguson, who was the executive director prior to me, and I'm fairly new to this position, and a lot of her hard work getting everything organized and getting us to this point. It's very appreciative, Amanda. So thanks for everything. Yeah, Tony.
I noticed in your presentation that this is the first one to make others.
No, sir, there hasn't been others. There's been, since I came on board, there's been groups that want to do this. Dr. Moore has been in talks with a couple of groups for years. You know, they're years. And what I say to them is, good luck. You need a Dr. Moore. I mean, seriously, what's so cool about this is we are the only one probably in the world, I know in the United States, and people do want to emulate it, but I don't think they understand. It's not about money. It's not about having money to do it. It's about having the facilities that will allow you to utilize them. And it's about having the medical volunteers. We're hopeful. We are hopeful that someone wants to franchise this, and we have dedicated ourselves to a couple of people that are trying to do this, to give them the playbook. Like here, we'll help you. Here's how it goes, but no, not yet. No one else.
We'll add one for about 3 or 4 years and keep working that. From Zoom land out here, what medical specialties are highest need right now?
General surgery is highest need, and eye surgeons, and the highest need is anesthesiologists. So we will not operate, even though the state of Kentucky allows operations with CRNAs, we will have an anesthesiologist on site that day. So it's a smaller pool to grab from. So anesthesiology is probably the most needed.
Yeah. So, this morning we had another. High cost of, medication. So, when these folks leave the surgery, they break it up. They still find. Yeah, it might take them
So for a lot of the surgeries, there's medication that's needed prior to the surgery and after the surgery. We provide those medications. We do not provide narcotics. So we have a relationship with the UK pharmacy right next door, and the patient has to pay for their narcotics. There's many times when patients cannot afford the eye drops, or if I mean, I haven't been involved in any aftercare where there's been infections or anything, but we would pick up that, but not the narcotics. I don't want people thinking Laura's a drug dealer.
Anyone else? Right. What's the average wait time?
So that differs. We tell folks 3 to 6 months, but it all depends on what kind of volunteers we can get.
It's an emergency, we'll get you in the next month, but would it be about 4 hour things we sort of group that gets together and looks at the case that maybe get some sense of urgency and try to move that up. We try to do that on a case by case basis.
But when folks, we don't do emergent care. So when folks do call us, you know, and it's something fell off a tractor and, you know, we direct them to go to the emergency room. So it's, and the other thing that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention is we also use a lot of interpreters. So we have a lot of volunteers that are certified as medical interpreters. You have to have the certification to do medical transcription and verbal transcription with folks. So that's another need of ours. And that's probably, besides salary, one of the highest costs, one of our highest operating costs. As you saw, I mean, there's people from all different parts of the world that live here in Lexington that we help.
How many surgeries are you made?
So in the old days, Dr. Moore says that they were there all day, you know, start at 6, leave at 6. Now what we try to do to give our volunteers a Sunday afternoon, you know, their Sunday to have, we start at 6 and we try to end our surgeries around 1 or 2. We can have anywhere from 15 surgeries to 5. And like I mentioned earlier, it kind of depends on the complexity of what surgery we're doing. When we do eyes, cataracts, and retinas, they usually can go pretty quick. So we can probably get 20 people in that day just to do cataract surgeries.
Do you focus on a particular type of surgery?
We focus on a particular type of surgery when we know in advance what doctors are going to help us that next month.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and don't forget to read your wheel horse. Thank you to John Morton and his committee for producing such a great newsletter for us. Hope you have a wonderful day, and with that, we're adjourned.